Hi, welcome to Market Fresh Let's Cook. It's another cooking session today. So what are we going to cook today? We are making some slow cook beef cheek, yeah, with red wine. So why do I choose this dish to make today? Because I think this is one of my favorite dish. It's very easy to make, although it takes a bit longer to actually braise the beef cheek, right? But the recipe is very simple, the ingredients is very simple, so not much of a work involved, but then end of the day you get a very yummy beef cheek. So now let me show you what are the ingredients that we're going to use today. Okay, I am using beef cheek. This is about 400 to 500 grams of beef cheek, celery, carrot, and some onion. So this is the brown onion, and for the herbs, right, I'm actually using fresh thyme. If you do not have fresh thyme, right, you can actually use dry thyme leaves, and also a couple of bay leaves and a few cloves of garlic. And for seasoning wise, we are using some sea salt, black pepper, olive oil, beef broth. So because I'm cooking this dish over the stove, so I will need a bit more beef broth, about 500 ml. But if you're cooking this over slow cooker or pressure cooker, you can use about maybe 300 ml of beef broth. And we are going to use some red wine as well. So the best type of grape to use for the red wine would be Cab Sauv, or you can use Merlot, because these are very full body red wine, which is very good for cooking. So peel off the skin of the carrot, alright, and then we are going to dice it coarsely, but you can either choose it to dice it, or you can cut it into bigger pieces. So for me, I'm going to cut it a little bit bigger because I would like to taste the carrot at the end of cooking. Yeah, so you can see how I cut my carrot. While I'm cutting, I'm actually turning it around so that I get irregular chunks of carrot. For celery that you just bought from the market, right, it will be a little bit sandy on the inside part, yeah, so make sure you clean it, alright, and then make a slit, alright. We don't want the roots, okay, and the head, just chop this because this is the dry part of the celery, which we do not want. All right, so same thing for celery, right? I'm going to cut it into smaller pieces. That's because celery is more fibrous, so we must break down the fiber of the celery. That's why you can see that, you know, I'm actually chopping my celery finely. So for the onion, right, remove both ends. We do not want both ends of the onion, alright, as well as the skin of the onion. Let's remove the skin of the onion also. Dice it, alright. So again, onion, right, we're going to brown the onion later on, so don't have to cut into too small a piece. Alright, so how I usually mince garlic, as you can see from the previous video, give it a good smack, yeah. By smacking on your garlic, right, it actually allows you to peel off the skin very easily. If you don't like garlic, maybe because you start off with tasting raw garlic, so trust me that if your garlic is cooked right, it will not have the very raw spicy taste. Yeah, it will actually taste quite good. So we're gonna mince the garlic. So you don't have to really mince it, because this one at the end of the day, right, it's going to be a braised dish, yeah. So everything is going to be very soft. So let's set this aside. we are going to prepare the beef cheek. All right, so this is how the beef cheek looks like. You see, there's this large membrane over here, right? So we will need to cut this membrane away. Yeah, so usually I will slice the membrane away. Be careful when you are slicing away the membrane, because if you're going to keep this membrane here, right, to me, right, you are going to make the meat very chewy. I choose not to use it. Yeah, it does not make the dish taste very nice. All right, so I'm going to cut it into large chunks so that later on we can sear the meat. So by cutting them into large pieces, smaller pieces, right, it enables them to cook faster also. Yes. So I'm going to cut this up. Okay. All right. So the beef is done. I'll set this aside, and then we'll start searing the beef. So we're going to sear the beef until it's a little bit brown. So the reason to sear the beef, right, is actually to lock in the juice. Okay, so this is the beef that we prepared earlier on. I'm just going to lightly season it with some salt. And pepper. Alright. Mix it well. Alright, make sure all your beef is well seasoned. All this now. I'm going to brown both sides of the beef. Let's see. Alright. So basically locking in the flavor of the beef. So we are not going to cook the beef at this stage. It's basically just sealing up both sides of the beef. I want it to have a little bit of brown char on the beef. That's why I'm turning up the heat. Yeah. Alright, so that it's like brown. So now, throw in the onion in the frying pan here. Brown the onion for about 1 to 2 minutes before we add in the garlic, the minced garlic. So we're going to do this until the onion is cooked. Yeah, before adding in the rest of the ingredients. And the garlic is starting to turn a little bit brown, so it's almost cooked. So now I'm gonna add in the carrots and the celery. Give it a good stir fry. And then I'm going to add in a pinch of salt. Not too much, just a pinch of salt. So the reason why we are frying the vegetable so long is because we want to give it a very good flavor before adding in the broth. Alright, so now we can add in the broth. About 400 ml of the broth first. So I'm left with half a bottle, so I'm using up the whole bottle. And then we're going to throw in some of the herbs. So this is actually thyme. Alright. And then we also have some bay leaves that we're going to use for the dish. Let it boil a little bit. Alright, so now the broth has boiled. We're going to return the beef back into the frying pan. Alright, and then let it braise slowly on its own, and we will check back about 2 hours later. Yeah, so let it cook slowly on its own first now. Alright, now after 2 hours of cooking, it's time to take a look. Wow, so you can see the sauce has greatly reduced. Alright, so in between the 2 hours of cooking, right, actually a lot of broth has been lost, so I added in about 1 to 2 bowl of water so that it can continue to simmer. Alright, so now we can turn off the fire. Now it's tender, so if I were to use a fork to poke through, alright, it can be poked through very easily. Yeah, so this shows that the beef cheek is done already. We'll have to remove the stem of the thyme, alright, and the bay leaf, so we do not want that. Alright, so now, right, with the sauce that is being reduced, right, you have two options, you know. One option is actually to serve it just like that, or another option is to remove all the beef cheek, and then you can use a blender, a hand blender, to blend up the sauce so that you get a very smooth sauce. Alright, but for today I'm not going to blend it because I actually enjoy eating, like, you know, the bits of onion and then the bits of the carrot. I have some mashed potato, creamy mashed potato here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to scoop some beef. Alright, put it on the mashed potato, and then we want some carrot as well. So the dish, it's ready. It's our slow cooked beef cheek with mashed potato. Isn't it very yummy? Look at the dish. Oh, this looks so good. So we will see you back next time. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as like our Facebook page to know more updates about our cooking session. So do subscribe to these two channels. Alright, so we'll see you guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.